You acting like a woman right now, bro.
Nah, man.
You are, man.
I'm not.
You acting like a woman, man. You acting just the same way that these women act when they don't get their way and they throw hissy fits and get mad at men and start blaming men and say toxic masculinity. That's the same thing you're doing with the race card. You're being a victim. You need to let go of that victim mentality. And
I'm not a victim.
If you don't let go, it's the mentality. If you don't let go of this victim mentality, bro, you are never going to get everything that you really want out of life. It comes with humility. And you have to throw away this narrative that people are doing things because it's racism. You don't have any fact or a leg to stand on when it comes to that. So you gotta let it go. You gotta. That's not a fact. Nothing you said was a fact. You never described any situation where you were able to prove that somebody was being racist against you. But what I did notice is that you operate with a level of pride that prevents you from really propelling yourself forward, bro. You gotta let it go.
I did.
Welcome back to Critical African Thinkers. This is a place where nothing escapes scrutiny. Here we examine everything under the microscope of logic to ascertain that which is factual and most logically consistent. So yesterday, while I was having lunch, I came across a very interesting video and I knew immediately that I had to react to it. Now, this video was made by a black guy, a self-made black millionaire known as Anton Daniels. And if you don't know Anton Daniels is to financial advice what Kevin Samuels is to relationship advice. So he is the Kevin Samuels of financial advice. And he made a claim in one of his live streams in which he said that as a black man, he's never experienced racism in America. So one of his viewers called him to challenge him on that point. So let's get into it and see what it says. But I promise you, it's going to be very, very interesting.
What up, B?
What's good, boy?
Slow motion. What's happening, fam?
I agree with you. I think most black people most black people are considered to be independent-minded from a long time ago, but that's about 30% of what I agree with you about. You know, about the other 70%, I just didn't really agree.
Like
but,
what?
You know,
tell me the part that you don't agree with.
That you never face racism. Like, come on, man. You know,
Okay, so he said that one of the reasons why he disagreed with Anton, that he agrees with him about 30%, but 70% of what Anton says, he doesn't agree with him. And the major point is that Anton made a claim that he hasn't experienced racism. And probably the reason why he hasn't experienced racism is because he's too busy trying to build his life to notice subtle racism or benign racism. Or possibly the racism is just so benign or so subtle that if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. Or possibly he doesn't interpret everything via a racial lens. He doesn't see the challenges that comes to him and automatically defaults to say that it's racism that's causing my problem. He looks for other ways. So I don't know, but that is my guess. And if I were a black man in America, that's exactly what I'm going to do. As long as there is nobody who's trying to hold me back by legislation or by very obvious means, that I think every other thing can be circumvented.
I don't agree with that.
Well, without going into your personal life, I would think that, you know, the statistics.
My whole life is open book. We could talk about it.
You know, I would think the statistics would say that, you know, loans probably have been fished around a little bit.
No, I've never had to take out a loan outside of like a car.
Okay, but you know, we know how they do the rates and whatnot. And then there's other things.
I got the best rate because I had a really great credit score.
Yeah, but
so see what he's trying to do here now. He's trying to try to get a confirmation from Anton that, okay, haven't you experienced this in terms of trying to get loans? were they not discriminating against you? Were you not getting a higher rate because you're a black person? Or were you not getting an unfavorable rate because you're a black person? And Anton said no, that he because of the way he has set up his life, he never needed to have loans. But in the one time where he needed to use a loan to purchase a car, that he had the best rates because he had good credit score, which is something objective, which had nothing to do with his race. So if you have a good credit score, I am believing that you're going to get the best rates with your loans. Or if your credit score is trash, then you possibly might not get the best rates. And if you're black, you might want to default to say, oh, it's because it's racism. If there's anything about business or anything about exchange of goods and services, more often than not, it is usually colorblind, because people are in for the profits, people are in for the money. So why would they deny a black person in this age? Why would they deny a black person that is capable of making them more money? Isn't the business in for making money? Why would the business act in such a way that is detrimental to themselves just because they're racist, just because they do not like the color of the other person's skin? It really doesn't make any sense to me.
You didn't always have the greatest credit score. You said that.
Why didn't I?
Because you said that to yourself. You said that you had.
When I went to buy a car, I had the greatest credit score.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
I don't. Where's the? I don't get it. What are we talking about?
Okay. Well. All right. Without me knowing about you, I will say that there are black people who experience racism every day. I've experienced racism in almost damn near every facet of life. So I could talk about when I was 18, I was working in the financial district of San Francisco. I was getting pulled over 3-4 times, getting searched. I could talk about when I did day labor and you would have 5 non-speaking immigrants getting picked over you just because of the simple fact that they were immigrants. Not about...
Or maybe they was faster than you.
No. They were dumb as a doorknob. I'm being real with you. They were...
How smart do you have to be? How smart do you have to be with day labor?
I mean, that's the simple fact. How smart do you have to be? But the only reason why you're not getting picked is because your skin color.
How do you know that for a fact?
Good question.
Because they're sitting there.
No. Because anybody could say that they experience racism based off of a circumstantial situation. How do you know for a fact?
Because when I went in the next day, it was the same thing. When I went in the next day, it was the same thing. I did day labor.
Maybe you was slow, or maybe you was not as good of a day laborer as you think you are. You might be thinking you awesome, and you might not have been.
No, trust me. I know.
So it's no possibility that they were actually better at the job than you.
I guarantee you, they could barely talk. They were living off the big honcho guy. See, that's the thing.
So that's racism.
Yes, because they know in day labor day, all you need is one Mexican, smart Mexican that can control 5 Mexicans.
So maybe they was able to pay them a lesser rate.
No, they're paying us equally. It's about control. So it's about race.
So
So let me get something. You were being passed up for employment over Mexicans who themselves are not white. So I don't understand. If white people are racist, there's the racism exclusive to black people. Are they not going to be racist against other, in quotes, people of color, which the Mexicans are as well? So why are the Mexicans being favored before you? Why would you have to default to racism? There might be other factors, like Anton is saying, there might be other factors that are responsible for the reason why Mexicans are being picked. But you did not try to find out what those factors were. You just assumed that the Mexicans were preferred to you because racism, because the white people who were employing them were racist. But let's go ahead.
So if it's about control, then it's not about race. You just said it yourself. If it's about control, it has nothing to do with race. You just proved my point, bro.
No, because there's black people who are in there with 10, 15 years of carpentry experience. And you're telling me that you're going to pick honcho because of that.
If it's about control, You just said it out of your own mouth.
Yeah,
If it's about control, then it's not about race.
No. It's absolutely about control because you're overlooking qualified candidates for the simple fact that you can control a certain group.
No, that's not true, because I rock with people. When I've hired people, it had nothing to do with how qualified they are. It had everything to do with whether or not I could get along with them. And the issue with a lot of people is that they don't take all these other factors and the intangibles into consideration. If it's about control, if this guy is gonna come in every single day, he's not gonna give me a problem, he's not gonna challenge me, he's not gonna do any of that stuff. He gonna do his job and he gonna go home. He gonna shut the piss up and he gonna go home. If it's about control, and now we're not talking about whether or not that's right or wrong. We're talking about control. If it's about control, that has nothing to do with racism.
But isn't race about control? Isn't control about race? I mean, like,
no, it's not.
I understand where you're trying to go with that, but like that's just one point. You know, I'll even go into my current job. You know, I've saved my county, I've saved my job thousands of dollars. They purposely do not want a black man like me in control.
How do you know this for a fact?
Because they are inferior in how they operate.
How do you know this for a fact? How do you know this for a fact? How do you know this for a fact?
Because
anybody can claim anything. How do you know this for a fact?
Because I got employee of the year at my job because a black district clerk and a black county clerk put me in head. They purposely hid me from jobs, and the one job that I did, I excelled at.
Who was they, and how did they hide you? The white people. It's just the white people.
It's very funny how he just said the white people, they purposely hid you. He's not thinking that probably the other reasons, it doesn't even occur to him that there might be other reasons why he's being passed up for the job. No. It's just a one-way street. It's about racism. My best friend is a black man and he lives in Germany. Germany is a predominantly white country. There are white people everywhere. He lives there, he's working there, he's married to another black woman there, and he's doing very well, he's living comfortably. Will I say he has never experienced racism? No, he has. But will I say that the racism he's experienced has been able to deter him or hold him back in any significant way? Definitely not. So there are going to be challenges. But if you default to it's racism, you may not see the solutions that are apparent. You may not see that the problem is not racism, maybe some other. When you say it's racism, you shut down the conversation. I mean, how are you going to proceed from there? You can't make the other person non-racist. So what can you do? There's nothing you can do at that point. But if there's something else and you understand, okay, that probably is my behavior, probably even if it's not my behavior, probably there's something around that's really not right that can be worked on. But once you say it's racism, it's over. Game over. There's nothing you can do about it. Because you will not be trying to improve yourself. You will not try to find out from the other person what the problem really is, so that both of you can come to an understanding. Because you automatically believe that it is racism.
It's nobody specifically.
I'm giving you my testimony. If you don't want to believe this, I can't help you, bruh. I'm being real with you. Okay, let me put it to you like this. If a person sits here and tells you
this mysterious they, go ahead.
Okay, if I'm sitting here training people on SQL Server, IS, I'm going all the way up the full stack. These people don't know nothing. They give them the job, but they gotta partner with me. I know more than 90% of what they do. But every single day, they try to hide projects because at the moment I get that project, I get recognition. They're envious of my black skin. They can deal with
They're envious of your black skin. Really?
They are. They can't understand it. They want me to be subservient.
Christ. Oh my God.
I'm being real.
Maybe you in there with a bad attitude, being loud and being a little bit too extra, and people don't want to work with you because they don't like you. Maybe it ain't got nothing to do with your skin. Maybe it got something to do with the fact that you're unwilling to be honest about who you are, how you communicate. Maybe you coming in and you operating in a way that makes it difficult to work with you. It don't have nothing to do with experience. People promote people. Stop. People rock with people because they like them. Don't have nothing to do. That's the first thing I learned with sales is that people buy things because they like you, not necessarily because you got the best product, right? So maybe you needed to get some coaching.
I can confirm that for a fact that people would buy from you because they like you, not necessarily because you have the best product. I mean, I started my career in sales, and there were a lot of products in the market. There were the better products than the ones I was selling, but I was able to sell because I was able to sell myself. So if you sell yourself, you will be able to get the market. If you are likable, if you're a team worker, if you have certain characteristics that are desirable in the workplace, I do not see any reason why they want to pass you up just for the sake of the color of your skin. Why would anyone want to pass up an employee that's adding value, not just in terms of his job, but in terms of character, in terms of behavior to the job? Why would anyone want to do that? Racism? Are people so evil nowadays that they're going to pass up something that will better their company just for the sake of not liking a particular skin tone? I do really find it hard to believe.
Do some reassessing. You don't know what these other people was doing behind the scenes. You don't know if they went to their supervisor and said, hey, can you mentor me? Hey, let me take you out to dinner. You don't know the intangibles, but you automatically, and this is the problem with black people, is they default back to racism when they don't get the results that they want, and they don't pay attention to all of the other things or how they are not meeting expectations outside of what they determine is the right criteria for them to get promoted.
Understood. I can see how you could say that on a face value, but like I said, I'm giving you my testimony. I'm telling you right now, I've made thousands of dollar systems. I've gone into trainings.
Nobody cares about that.
The thing is, I'm not saying this other guy is lying. I'm not saying he hasn't experienced these things he's talking about. But I think that he takes note of them too much. And I think that he has made them to affect the way he performs his job, the way he relates with people at his job, and it's just feeding the cycle. It's just feeding the negative cycle, feeding the negative energy.
They're still stuck. Anton, you know computers. They're still stuck on jQuery.
So
I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here doing full stack repositories. They're inferior. They do not want my knowledge. They are,
or maybe they don't want your aggression. Maybe they don't want your aggression. You know what? You know what this remind me of, eblack? This remind me of having a conversation with women, and that they'll say, "But I'm the educated one. I'm the one that make this. I'm that. You should be checking for me." No, you got a bad attitude and you talk too aggressive, and I'm not trying to compete with you when I get home. I want that feminine girl over there that may be a little less educated, but she more aligned with the direction that I'm trying to go in. It's not based off of your criteria and your stats. It's based off of who you are as a person. And in order for you to excel, and in order for you to get promoted, you're going to have to throw that mentality out the window, because nobody is checking for somebody that think that they all that probably has an inflated view of what they think is awesome versus the actual person that's hiring them. It's not racism, bro. You can't default to that.
Based on my career, I've been promoted in damn near every job. I've never had any problems. I've never been fired from a job. The only time I've ever had a problem is when I moved to Texas. And I moved to towns that are 65% black, and they only have one black person in their department. But they choose other departments that are, they choose to hire other white people who come from towns that are 20,000. Yeah, you're right. They can't, my attitude is bad because they can't deal with a black person handling being
This is your assumption. This is your assumption. This is you assuming. You don't know for a fact that anybody is racist towards you. You can't default to racism. You can't do that.
So when I hear rumors of people saying that I'm black and I'm aggressive, when they use ad hominem things, stereotypical.
Are you aggressive? Are you aggressive?
No, I code switch real good, bro. I code switch real good. I know how to dress up. I know how to wear. I never wear a t-shirt.
Maybe you don't code switch as much as you think you do.
Maybe not enough for the racism
maybe you need somebody. Maybe you need somebody to look at you and be honest with who you are, and maybe you should go to him and say, "Yo, what can I do differently, or can you mentor me?" Maybe you should take the initiative and participate in your own success and have the conversation calmly, instead of automatically defaulting that somebody is holding something against you because you black, because it's not true.
I'm sorry. I've worked in California. I've been a data analyst. I know poor workmanship. This is not my first job. What you're trying to do is act like I have to look up to somebody. There is nobody to look up to. No, I don't.
You do. Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Well, how don't you if you're the one that's seeking a promotion? You don't get it?
By that.
If you're the one that's seeking the promotion, how don't you have to look up to anybody?
What you're saying is I have to play the game.
Yes.
I have to play the game?
Yes.
With white folks.
With anybody that's in a position to empower you to become more profitable or get you to the bag. Yes.
See, this is exactly what happens, for example, in my country, when women complain that they are not in positions of power and authority. Most of the political positions are held by men, and the reason why they're not in those positions is because they're women. I look at them at times and I'm like, do you think any man has ever gotten what he's gotten for the sole reason that he's a man? You think the person who is president today was just handed that position because he's a man? No, he's had to fight other men to get to that position. He's had to fight other people to get to that, to beat other people to get to that position. And he's had some incredible challenges getting to that position. And of course, the challenges might be unique because you're a woman. There are challenges that might be unique to you as a woman. There are also challenges that might be unique to the man as a man. But if you really want something, you're going to go for it, irrespective of the challenge. You may succeed, you may not succeed. But if you never try it, you're never going to succeed. So when people always default to, okay, I don't want to play you don't want to play the game. You have to play the game of life. You have to play the game of employment. If you have to grow in an organization, then you definitely have to look up to people above you, because there are a lot of things to learn from them, and you definitely want them to like you, because if you want to get promoted and all that stuff, those things are going to factor in. But when he has a saying, he doesn't have to look up to anybody. With that kind of attitude, how do you exactly feel that your bosses can work comfortably with you? It's a very self-limiting attitude.
Okay.
That's just life 101. That don't have nothing to do with race.
And based on my history, I've always done that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, E.
And then that's just one thing.
As a person that hired, I've empowered and hired more people than you think. Like, real talk. Whenever they come to me with their work history, I ignore all of that crap, because I can train you to be great. I can empower you and put you around the right person to be great. The thing that I look at is your attitude and how you go about doing things, of whether or not you fit the culture of people that would like to work with you based off of how you operate in humility. Has nothing to do with what you look like, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. It has everything to do with whether or not you're coachable. I don't want anybody around me that's not humble and coachable, because you know what I do to the people that were above me? I'm humble and I'm coachable, because they have some information and some game for me that I'm seeking. They don't owe me nothing. They're not required to do nothing from me, and they're not required to talk to me nice either. I can choose not to participate. I can choose to go and start my own business, but don't nobody owe me nothing. And it's unfortunate that we always default back to race when we don't get what we want, like some big babies, man. It's unfortunate. That's silly. I can't do it, E. I can't do it, bro.
Okay. Well, okay. If my whole career has been promotion after promotion, dealing with people of different races, my own people, promotion. All my career has been like that. The moment I get in front of a racist environment, You're telling me that I'm not humble enough.
You are giving me nothing to say this is racist.
I'm telling you, our city is 65% black.
I don't care.
They're not hiring.
I have excelled in areas stop, E. I have excelled in areas where I am the only black person. I go in and I do what I'm supposed to do. I participate. I volunteer. I get mentorship from the people above me. I buy them gifts. I'm very likable. I spend the overwhelming majority of my day participating in other people's success. I tell them that I want them to be great, and anything you need me to do in order to ensure you successful, I'm with you. You know what they do? They promoted me to be an executive vice president of user experience. I worked my way all the way up into the top in an area where there was no black people. How is that possible? How is that possible?
That's the same way that I've been promoted my whole life, being agreeable.
So why is it so difficult for you to understand that and you automatically default to race when you don't get your way?
Do you know where Vidor, Texas is?
Okay, so he's mentioned Texas like twice now, 2 or 3 times now. Maybe, I don't know, is Texas the most racist place in America? Is this the whitest place in America? I have a friend and a classmate. We finished university together. And currently he's in Texas. He lives in Texas. He works in Texas. His family is in Texas. And he's doing very well for himself. A black man, he's doing very well for himself. In fact, he's a Republican. The supposed racist party, and he voted for Trump twice, the supposed racist president. So I don't know. I don't know if all this scream of racism, if it's justified all the time. I will still maintain that yes, there is racism, but to the degree to which they exist, I don't think it's enough to hold any serious-minded black person back. I don't think so. At least in 2021. Maybe in the past it was, but at least in 2021, I don't think it is.
No, I don't.
I want you to look it up. It's a racist town in Texas.
It don't even matter, E. We're not gonna get nowhere because you playing the victim again. This is the thing that I'm having this podcast. This is why I'm having this live stream, because you are playing the victim instead of doing what you need to do to make the adjustments and make yourself more marketable when it comes to actually being able to get the positions that you want. It's a victim mentality, bro. I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it, bro.
Let me tell you like this. I've been in also banking, right? I was working at Bank of America. Mm-hmm. Man, there's like Filipinos out there that barely spoke English, and they were talking about 10-key stuff. Black people are killing it. Do you think we get any recognition for our hard work?
Why do you want recognition? Your recognition is your pay. What you talking about?
Okay.
You don't need no extras. You're a grown man. Your paycheck at the end of the week is your recognition. We don't. Why do you need recognition for you to feel good about yourself? For you to not feel racist?
I want a job. I want to get paid an amount of money to where I can make future. What you're talking about is, you know, if you don't like the job, you can leave. But a lot of people in different industries don't have that. You're talking about Detroit. In fact, you said Detroit right.
So
you said Detroit right. 2/3 of Detroit was their debt was based on the unions, the government, retirees, right? 2/3. Now imagine 2/3 of that being white people. What if that narrative changed?
E, I'll tell you this. I'm going to sum it up like this, because I do want to get to some more people. Based off of how you're operating now and the narrative that you're perpetuating based off of how you operate in a corporate environment, me, as a black man that was a vice president of user experience, I would not hire you. I would not hire you. Is that racist?
I think you're basing it on personal thing, but in an interview,
is it racist?
Based on my aggressiveness, is what you're saying?
Is it racist for me not to hire you?
No, I've never said that it was not.
But if I was white, you would default to racism.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, you would. You just did. No. You've been doing it the whole conversation. You talked about how awesome you are. You talked about how awesome you were and why they didn't hire you without any real insight into why they didn't hire you. It was all based off of what you thought and not based off of fact and truth. Whereas when I said that I wouldn't hire you, you defaulted back to something completely different from race. How is it any different?
Because what I was saying was when I get hired, the treatment that I got, I'm getting compared to my coworkers. I'm doing the work that my coworkers do, and I'm helping them, and I'm actually doing.
Why you not asking me why I wouldn't hire you then?
Because I'm not worried about the hiring process. The hiring process is a whole different scenario.
Which is exactly your problem. You're not trying to get to the root cause of why you're not in the position that you're supposed to be. You're automatically defaulting to what you think. And this is the problem within our community. We have to step out of ourselves, step out of our pride, step out of our ego, find a level of humility in order to get what it is that we need to get. But you're not even asking the right questions, which shows me that you're not in a position to be promoted in the spaces you're supposed to be promoted in, because if you're doing it here, how is it any different from you doing it there?
Because this is a public platform.
So the thing is, I have this principle in life. I believe that very little things are caused by just one thing. Very little things in life caused by one thing. There are usually multiple factors. That cause a particular thing. And for you to reduce it to just one, you may be missing the big picture. It may be something else. It may be a combination of everything. It may even there might be some racism in it. But there might also be other things. The other things that may be more impactful than the racism itself. That if you could take care of, would minimize the impact of the racism. And then you would go further. But when you default to just say it is racism, what happens is that you don't soul search, you don't ask the right questions, just like Anton is saying. You're not asking the right questions. Why are these people passing me up? There are interviews I've been to that by the time I was leaving those interviews, I knew I wasn't going to be called because I assessed myself and my performance. And the ones that I actually got the jobs, I knew by the end of the interview that I was going to get this job because of the way I presented myself. There was a self-assessment going on. There was a concurrent self-assessment going on. So if we cannot do that self-assessment by ourselves, then we should ask other people, try to get feedback from other people.
But when people work with you, they're able to see the real you for an extended period of time to make a better, more informed decision.
Okay, but does that mean poor work?
It's not. I don't have nothing to do with work, bro. That's what I keep trying to tell you. Don't have nothing to do with work.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you would rather hire somebody who doesn't know what they were doing over a person who knows what they're doing. So I'm confused.
You're not confused. You get it. You get it.
I get it. I get what you're trying to say, but I think in real life, that's not what actually happens. Productivity gets you ahead.
You need to let go of that victim mentality. I'm
not a victim.
If you don't let go, it's the mentality. If you don't let go of this victim mentality, bro, you are never going to get everything that you really want out of life. It comes with humility. And you have to throw away this narrative that people are doing things because it's racism. You don't have any fact or a leg to stand on when it comes to that. You gotta let it go. That's not a fact. Nothing you said was a fact. You never described any situation where you were able to prove that somebody was being racist against you. But what I did notice is that you operate with a level of pride that prevents you from really propelling yourself forward, bro. You got to let it go.
I did tell you that I'm being compared to my other coworkers, and they're hiding work from me because if I do their work for them, they don't get credit for it. So they rather have my coworkers do sub work and me do a good job. They'd rather do that. So that's racism because it's not about teamwork then. It's not about accomplishing tasks. You get what I'm saying?
Nope.
Wait.
I got to move on to other people. I don't get it. We just going to disagree.
I just said it's stuff, but I mean, but like I said, Anton, just one final thing, Anton. I agree. There's an individual component to it, which I've lived through my whole entire life. I've always been self-sufficient, and I've always taken care of myself. But I've never been a fool to walk around and act like the darkness of my skin was not a trigger to some people.
You ain't darker than me.
Okay. You chose your paths. I chose mine. But we can't sit here and act like these paths are not the same.
I'm gonna need you to get coaching, bro. Acting like a woman right now, bro.
Nah, man.
You are, man.
I'm not.
You acting like a woman, man. You acting just the same way that these women act when they don't get their way and they throw hissy fits and get mad at men and start blaming men and say toxic masculinity. That's the same thing you're doing with the race card. You're being a victim. Man up. Man up. Get some coaching. Humble yourself. Be open to the possibility that you can change and evolve, and that's going to be the thing that propels you to get the bag. I promise you.
I agree.